Tonight, we have a list of 5 great villain songs, because evil needs a soundtrack. How you doing tonight? Excellent. So, tonight I wanted to go over with you a list of some of my favorite villain songs. Now, there's a good reason why I wanted to create a list like this. Basically, it's because I notice that a lot of times when I type in the term villain songs, villain music into a search engine like YouTube, looking for a list of cool villain tracks, I only get Disney stuff. In fact, a lot of Disney lists are out there of their villain music, the songs that the villains in those movies sing. And I want to be clear, I have nothing against Disney at all. But a lot of times when I'm looking for this kind of thing, I'm looking for something else. I'm looking for a different type of villain music. It isn't a genre exactly. It's not in the musical sense. What it is a thematic thing, a lyrical thing. Now, of course, we can assume that there are some dark elements to this too, musically, but it's really this idea of songs that seem to be designed with, often from the first-person standpoint, or at least about a character that seems to be a villain, but not necessarily a specific movie character or anything like that. I really just wanted to make a collection like this, is what this basically comes down to. I really just wanted to share this and kind of get the conversation going about, hey, there's a whole nother thematic idea out there that I don't see a lot of people really talking about, but you do see crop up on a lot of times villain montage videos or villain tribute videos on YouTube, for example. Without further ado, here is my list of 5 great villain songs. That's just one hand. 5 great villain songs. So we're going to count down on the list now. This is a countdown. Number 5 on the list is Red Right Hand by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds.
Take a little walk to the edge of town and go across the track where the viaduct looms like a bird of doom as a ship.
Now, what's interesting about this one is that it definitely has a villainous tone. It seems to have a villainous protagonist, which is, I consider, very important for this list. But if you actually know the history of this song, the term Red Right Hand is actually a reference to the Bible. It's a biblical reference to God. However, this character in this song seems a little bit more like the devil. There's definitely something dark, mysterious, even frightening about this, and of course, I love that. This song has actually been featured in multiple media. I always think about it from the film Scream. It's a personal favorite of mine. It has a little section there towards the middle of the film, and it's just plays in the background, and it's really nice and mood-invoking. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put Red Right Hand as my number 5 pick on this list. So number 4 on the list is I'm the Villain by Theory of a Dead Man.
All day, all night, I've been thinking why feeling wrong feels so right. And I know, yeah, I've tried to turn myself around, but I know what I like.
Now this one's just so blatant, it's just so obvious, it's wonderful. I love this. I'm the villain. The song, the lyrics, it's about a guy being a bad guy, choosing to be a bad guy. And he says he tries to be good, but it's against his nature. And I can relate to that. I can totally relate to that. And I think you can too, because you guys are awesome. Those lyrics, I try to turn myself around, but I know what I like, just evokes that whole natural villain sort of thing. Yeah, I'm on the dark side, can't be helped. I'm doing this. This is me. This is who I am. I think it's something many of us can kind of relate to a certain extent. We all have that little dark side. Some of us are a little bit more prone to it than others. Even if you're not necessarily a villain, you still know what it's like to be a little misunderstood, have a little reluctance to be yourself, but in the end you just have to accept that. Hey, if I'm the bad guy, so be it. Every fairy tale needs a good old-fashioned villain, right? Number 3 on my list is Super Villain by Power Man 5000.
Dressing all in black, from your front to your back.
Okay, so if that last one was blatant, this one is just over the top blatant. It's really obvious, it's really great, and once again, I just love that very villain-specific vibe the song has going on there. Dressing all in black from your head. Okay, technically I'm actually wearing a little bit of crimson here, but come on. It's a great song, and it's been used in a whole lot of different villain tribute videos, too. Villain compilations. It's one of those great villain songs you can just pull out and be like, yeah. Living like a super villain. Excellent. Number 2 on my list is Sympathy for the Devil by Guns N' Roses.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I've been around.
Okay, now I know what you're saying. Hold on, just give me a moment. Yes, Sympathy for the Devil is a Rolling Stones cover, but hear me out for a minute. The Guns N' Roses version is way more sinister. Just a more evil version of the song. Yes, the Stones did it originally, but I'd say Guns N' Roses improved it a little bit. I really believe that. And I'm not the only one who thinks so. Although, it would be cool if I was the only one who thought so. That's right. I am the only person who believes that Guns N' Roses did a better job of Sympathy for the Devil than the Rolling Stones, and I have conviction about that. Yeah, that's right. I'm a rebel. I'm the only one who thinks that. Seriously, a lot of people like the Guns N' Roses cover of that song, and I think it's just a better version. Sympathy for the Devil, of course, even if you're just talking about the Stones version, it's a classic song, very evil. I mean, let's be honest, the devil is probably the greatest villain of all time. I mean, according to biblical mythology, he created evil, so, like, how are you gonna top that? Seriously. I'm gonna be worse than the devil. Yeah, no, that's not happening. Sympathy for the Devil, great classic song, whether you like the Rolling Stones or Guns N' Roses version of it. And my number 1 choice for villain songs, When You're Evil by Voltaire.
When the devil is too busy and death's a bit too much, they call on me by name, you see, for my special touch. To the gentleman, I'm misfortune. To the
This song is just amazing to me. It's magical. I love this song because it's campy and it's fun and it's dark and it features a villain, first-person villain protagonist, and it's just wonderful. It encapsulates everything that I would want for this kind of song, this kind of genre. It really revels in that whole evil darkness thing, and it's kind of silly, but it's also kind of dark and a little bit eerie too, and you could argue that almost all of Voltaire's work falls into that category. That kind of combination of dark and camp, and in case you didn't know, I love that. If you've ever seen anything that Twisted Jenius has ever done on the internet ever, that's what we're into. We like dark but silly stuff. It's just a fun, jaunty song. Almost anything from Voltaire's playlist could potentially fall into this category, but When You're Evil is probably by far one of his most famous songs, and in my opinion, and I'd say many other people's, one of his best too. It's a really great villainous song, and it's fun. It's a happy villainous song. How cool is that? It's a happy villainous song. That's just wonderful, and I love that. But wait, I've got some honorable mentions for you guys as well. These songs didn't quite make it to the list because it's supposed to be a top 5 list, but I felt like I should include them anyway because they're also a lot of fun and definitely fall roughly into this category, even if they're not quite as on point as some of those other songs. I'm Your Villain by Franz Ferdinand. This one almost made the list. I think the themes of it aren't exactly what I was going for here. I think that song's using villain more as a metaphor and not quite as literally as some of the other songs on the main list, but it's still a really cool song. And so definitely check that one out. I'm going to actually put a link to all these songs down in the comment section there, so you should definitely check that one out as well. It's definitely catchy, very cool. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say Heathens by 21 Pilots. This song is of course famous because it was very associated with the film Suicide Squad. I think it was part of that soundtrack. And it was also got a lot of radio play when that film came out. So it's definitely very villain-esque, and that's really cool as well. But this list is not by any means complete. I am sure there are other great villain songs out there. In fact, if you'll notice, most of the songs on this list tend to fall under the rock category, but I know there's a lot of good villainous rap songs as well. Horrorcore, a whole genre devoted to people doing bad things to each other there. Plus there's plenty of just songs about being a badass that could roughly fall into this category depending on how much you want to stretch the definition of a villain song here. I'm sort of making this up as I'm going along, so yeah, we could kind of expand this a little bit too. Not to mention artists like Metal Face Doom. He's literally the supervillain of hip-hop. That is his persona, so a lot of stuff by him could definitely fall into this category. And then there's, of course, many other musical genres that this could fit into. Goth, for example, probably has a lot of songs that this could cover. I've been listening to a lot of 80s dark wave lately, and that's really fun. David Bowie made various songs that could fall into this category. Marilyn Manson, the list goes on. So if you have any recommendations, if you have any villainous songs that you think would be really cool that I should know about, definitely let me know, because I guarantee you I do not know every song out there. And I would really like to have some more suggestions, some cool villainous tunes to listen to. And I'm also going to include links to videos featuring all these songs down in the comments section there. So if you want to check any of these out, definitely do that. And make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any more villainous inspiration and dark fun. This is False Prophet of Twisted Genius saying, stay evil, and good night.